Hey everyone, I'm Tom, and welcome to the Orange Chronicles, where I chronicle what I have been up to over the past week or so. And first and foremost, I just want to say I hope everybody had a fun and safe 4th of July holiday. I had a pretty good one overall. Got to spend a lot of times with friends and family, which is pretty much all you can ask for on these nice long holidays here in the USA. I hope everybody's pets were safe. I know a lot of times the fireworks really mess especially dogs up. I know my parents' dogs are not big fans of the fireworks. So hopefully, you got some good sleep and your pets are recovering fine from all of the loud noises. But let's go ahead and get into what I did read this week, which wasn't a whole lot. Like I said, I was out doing things, so reading definitely took a backseat. But my main focus was this, Sorcerer's Legacy by Jenny Wirtz. This is my 6th Jenny Wirtz book in the 3rd universe I have read from her. So I have read 4 books in her big series, The Wars of Light and Shadow. You've probably heard a lot about that series here on YouTube. A lot of buddy reads. A lot of people are kind of a part of that right now. I've also read one of her standalones, The Master of Whitestorm, and now this is my next one that I'm reading from her, The Sorcerer's Legacy. And let me just say, it has been a fantastic time so far. I am buddy reading this with Zachary Shea. You can check his channel out. I'll have it linked in the description. But this is one of those stories where I didn't really have any idea going in. I listened to a podcast Shea and Jenny Wirtz did together where she pitched this book, and this is not a spoiler. This is first couple pages of the book, but we are introduced to this world where our main character is basically being interrogated. Her kingdom has just been conquered. Her husband, the king, has just been slain, and basically they're going to take her as a war prize. And they have her in a dungeon, and while she's in there, a sorcerer comes and says, "Hey, I know you're in this awful situation. If you're willing to make the sacrifice, you can come and help me in my kingdom." And basically, it kind of gives her a little bit of a freedom of a choice, but she's still kind of bound by what is going on and things outside of her, control, which is a really interesting aspect. Just, not something you would really start most stories in, right? Like you were thrown right into the start of the story, no build up or anything. It's just like that, which I really enjoyed this story. Unsurprisingly, if you have read any of Jenny Wirtz, beautifully written, great character work. And the main character in here, she is just like the perfect level of like sassy and clever and just like a lot of different things. So I'm really, really enjoying that. I'm only about 30% of the way into that. And so it's a pretty short book. I think the audiobook is like 10-ish hours, 8-ish hours. I can't remember off the top of my head. So this is definitely something I plan on reading a lot more today, probably. My real goal is to have this finished by Wednesday of this upcoming week, so I can start my other buddy read of By Blood, by Salt, I think is what it is, by J.L. Odom. I think that was the self-fantasy blog off, whatever that title is, the 10th winner of that. And I'm buddy reading that with a couple other people as well. So the goal is to have this finished because it's kind of on the shorter side to get to that. But yeah, Sorcerer's Legacy has been great so far. If you've not read any of Jenny Wirtz, pick up one of her standalones. You don't have to start with her big series. And yeah, she's fantastic, and this book has been great. So very much looking forward to getting more into that. And unfortunately, I did not get to start this thing yet, and that is While Darkness Gathers by Philip Chase. I'm a big fan of the Adan trilogy. I read them basically when they all came out, started them mostly on release day. I maybe waited a little bit for the last book, I can't remember. And my original plan was to be at least part of the way through this. I have said multiple times that I was going to start it. And basically, just with the holiday and everything, I didn't sit down and read it. So this will probably be something I get to probably tonight. Actually will be the first time I crack this baby open and read it. It is so much shorter though than some of the other books back there, which is I'm really interested to see. I've seen a couple people talk about it, and it sounds like I'm going to like it. It sounds like it's that great blend of a sequel series where you still have some of the characters and the lore and stuff from the trilogy bleeding into this story, but you're still getting some new characters with a new story in this. I've heard him say that you could technically read this as a standalone, but he wouldn't recommend it. And so obviously can't say anything yet because unfortunately I haven't started it. But yeah, this is definitely one of my most anticipated reads of the year, and I'm very much looking forward to getting into that one. Now, switching over to some of my other reads, and this is kind of my manga/comic sections, and I have not read any manga. I've been really into comics recently, and I finished the All-Star Superman. This was recommended to me by Britain by some Ookie dude here on YouTube, and I had a pretty good time with this. I didn't like it as much as we had talked about Superman for All Seasons. This is not... I like Superman for All Seasons more than this. They're very different kind of stories, but this, I mean, it was still really good. I really had a good time with it, and it's nice to read this as the Superman movie is coming out here pretty soon. I think maybe comes out this upcoming weekend. I don't know. I'm going to go see it soon with some people, and so very much looking forward to that. But yeah, this was a good Superman comic. If you have not really ever read comics, those are 2 great recommendations, I think, because they're nice, self-contained. You can just read them and not have to worry about a bunch of lore and canon and all this other stuff. You can just come in. It's like manga, right? You can just open the book, read it, and be done. Unlike a lot of like single floppies when it comes to comics, where there's a lot of stories intertwine, and you've got to read this comic and that comic to understand every little aspect of stuff that's going on. I think these bind ups are really a great way to get introduced into comics. Personally, I would recommend Superman for All Seasons over All Star Superman just a little bit. I mean, Superman for All Seasons just was like the perfect kind of Superman for me. Everybody has different preferences, but this was by no means a bad story at all. And then we have got to talk about this behemoth. This is the first compendium of Invincible, obviously very popular Amazon series. It was a popular comic series before that. There are 3 of these, and this is from the library. And my problem is just like While Darkness Gathers, I didn't really get too much time to sit down and read, and obviously I have to sit down to read this. And this has to go back to the library in 5 days, and I am on like page 2. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to finish this whole compendium in time before it has to go back to the library. What I might have to do is get as far as I can into it, remember where I'm at, return it to the library, and wait my turn again to check it back out, because I tried to renew it, and there are 4 or 5 people already waiting in line for it. So unfortunately for me, it might be one of those ones where I get most of the way through it, or I'm going to try. I have 5 days. And this feels like a lot to get through in 5 days, but I'll come back to it at some point, because this is a series that I really have enjoyed the TV show. I think it gets better every season, and basically I think the first 3 seasons cover about this much, maybe a little bit into the second compendium, and I'm tired of waiting. I just want to know what happens. I've also heard that yes, there are differences between this and the show, which is like perfect for me, because I'll be able to get the original story here and then still be surprised by what changes they make in the series. I think the writer Robert Kirkman has said that he's a better writer now, and he's been able to make improvements to the story as it goes on. So it's going to be kind of like the best of both worlds. I think I've said that before, that it's going to be awesome to experience it both ways. So we will see what happens there. And then lastly, on the watch front, I did watch something. I on accident figured out that season 3 of Squid Games was happening, like just came out. And so I was needing a new show and started watching season 2 and saw that season 3 was coming. So I couldn't have accidentally timed it any more perfect. So I basically just got to watch season 2 straight into season 3, which is insane, because the cliffhanger at the end of season 2 is insane. Like, I couldn't imagine waiting. I don't even know how long the gap was, but waiting any amount of time to go from the end of season 2 into season 3 would have bothered me so much. And so I'm really glad that I got to just do that. I think in the end, it was really good. I think season 1 is still probably my favorite. I'm surprised that they were able to do more seasons. I think that first season was just like a perfect encapsulation of like what they were going for there. But that by no means means season 2 or 3 were bad. They were both really good. I'm glad I watched it. I will be curious on if there is more. I won't say anything more than that. I don't want to spoil it. It just came out, but this just feels like one of those properties that they're not going to leave alone. You know what I mean? So definitely, if you have watched season 3 already, let me know down below in the comments what you think about the very end, because I do have some thoughts down there. But that is all for me. Definitely let me know how your week was. Did you see any good fireworks? All that fun stuff. What did you read? You can either hit me up in the comments below, or as always, there is the Discord linked as well. But that's all for me. And remember, read what you want when you want.